lana esihlangana khona namhlanje abantu babelwele inkululeko yethu esinayo namhlanje.
Hey folks, welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. Unaccomplished child of privilege Dudu Zuma has blamed apartheid for her personal failures, trying to explain her laziness away. I am sorry. I can't speak isiZulu. I am a victim of apartheid. This is one of those things that happens. We don't get to grow up in South Africa and learn our mother tongue. But I'm trying. I am learning. Give me a few more years. Say what? Did not get to grow up in South Africa? Hey, here's a newsflash. Apartheid ended when she was 10 years old, and democratic elections occurred when she was 12 years old. So why wasn't her family living in South Africa? Give me a few years? Well, is 30 years insufficient, Dudu, to learn a language? I grew up in rural Appalachia here in America, thousands of miles from Africa, and began to self-teach myself an African language in my early 20s, eventually learning 3 African languages well into my 40s. So what exactly is her excuse again? By the way, does she speak any African languages? Her mother is from Mozambique. Does she speak any Portuguese, perhaps Tsonga, or any of the 43 languages spoken in her mother's birthplace? Arguably, she must have grew up at the heels of her mother, no? Or was she separated from her mother as well as her father? Now, wasn't she married to Lonwabo Sambudla for 6 years? Isn't that guy a Zulu? So you can't learn a language from the person with whom you share a bed? Nina
Besilo. Aveniba se namhlanje. Sanbonani, good afternoon. What a historic and wonderful day.
Hey, wait a second. That dude speaks isiZulu, no? And he grew up in post-apartheid South Africa. She's 42, he's 33. Oh, and speaking of marginalization, overcoming social challenges, and still learning Zulu, the dude is gay, openly gay, and not exactly from Umlazi. Dudu is 42 years old. Apartheid ended 32 years ago. Democratic elections came 30 years ago. Folks, the reason that Dudu Zuma does not speak isiZulu is, number 1, she's lazy. Number 2, she's arrogant. Number 3, she doesn't give a flip. Or number 4, she's simply a poser. I'm betting it's the last reason. She's a hanger-on, a nobody riding on daddy's coattails. Now, didn't she also devote a lot of energy on Twitter back in 2021, July 2021, in English, encouraging looting and chaos during the KZN insurrection? Or was that only her twin brother who did that? I'm not sure. I forget. So how many times have we heard the endless black supremacy non sequitur about white South Africans learning an African language, when any honest person who knows South Africans is full aware that all 2.8 million Afrikaners already speak at least one African language, Afrikaans, and most speak 2 or 3 African languages. But she doesn't even know daddy's language? Well, have no fear. I'm here to help with some resources for poor Dudu, who clearly doesn't have the money to do this on her own. Now, there are plenty of ways to learn isiZulu. For instance, one could, marry a Zulu. Oh, wait, that didn't take. Or you can hang out with Zulus. But in this millennium, learning a language is much easier than it's ever been for non-native speakers, which would obviously be her. Here's some helpful suggestions for poor Dudu. First, the University of South Africa, UNISA, offers free online isiZulu courses. And I've even left a link in the video in case she watches this video so she can find it. Now, to be fair, it's not very extensive, but it's a start. Duolingo is a language learning program that is simple to use, enjoyable, and if you're determined, you can learn it quickly according to IOL. Even has bite-sized courses that allow you to earn points to unlock levels of learning. Talcor is a South African learning platform that claims isiZulu language courses meant to produce effective outcomes only 15 minutes a day, with proper pronunciation, the correct accent, and the tempo of speech. Learnio is another one that IOL offering this, very kind of them. Yep, IOL offers an economical, accessible, and pleasant approach to language learning, so she might have to pay for that one. Our desire to help all learners overcome their misconception that learning Zulu and Afrikaans has to be difficult. Well, let's help her out there. Sawubona language learning. Now, here's the problem. This site is run by a white couple, so it might not be her cup of tea. But they even offer free multiple Nguni language programs on YouTube. How easy can that possibly get? Listen, Twitter is roasting Dudu Zuma over her nonsensical excuse, trying to blame apartheid for her disinterest in isiZulu. So one comment, so even when she had a whole father as a president for 9 years, apartheid was still stopping her from learning her language? Not any of her other family members were able to help her to learn a few words in the last 30 years? Questioned General Dutoy. What nonsense is that? She does not speak isiZulu because she looks down on, I'm not going to say it, but pretends to love you when she wants your support, said Brocken132. Folks, if she thought her lame race hustling excuse was going to work with Zulu or other black South Africans, she surely misjudged the climate. Zulus and even the independent online are torching her. Ladies and gentlemen, people like Dudu Zuma are why South Africa is sliding backwards. Endless race hustling, blaming others for her failures. 42 years old, an unaccomplished hanger-on, strap hanger, riding daddy's coattails. Now, been appointed to the Pan-African Parliament. Woo! Wow, she doesn't even speak African languages, but she's in the Pan-African Parliament. Hey, why don't you put some white dudes in there, or some Arabs? I'm sorry, I can't speak isiZulu. It's apartheid's fault that I'm lazy. I'm lazy. Oh my goodness. Sorry, doesn't work. Cheers, folks. Feel free to leave a comment behind on what your thoughts are about a 42-year-old woman who lives in South Africa for at least 30 years and doesn't speak any African languages. Oh, she's not white either. Cheers.